Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
What's up everybody, Barrett here back again with Spec Tech. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing of two items that I won from the Summit Hi-Fi for Q2. So for those of you that weren't involved, you might want to get involved with the next one. They had a lot of great giveaways, they had a lot of great information, and it really was a lot of fun. So today I'm going to be unboxing the OSD Black Trevoce 12 subwoofer. It's actually a pretty cool little subwoofer. It's a sealed enclosure with a active 12-inch driver and two passive 12-inch radiators. And then I also have the Neumi BS5 bookshelf speakers. They're more on the budget end, so we're going to see how these things fare, even though their price is only $89 US. But before we get into that, if you are new here, make sure you subscribe and tick the little bell icon so you can be notified about my following videos. And if you do like the content, guys, please hit the like button. It helps out the YouTube algorithm. Alright guys, without further ado, let's get into the unboxing of these items. So I'm going to start with the Neume BS5 speakers. So I'm just going to slide this subwoofer out of the way a little bit to give me a little bit more room. So as I said, I won these from the the Hi-Fi Summit, which was actually a cool summit that was put on by Joe and Tell's channel, Techno Dad, as well as Youth Man. And they had a lot of cool presenters there and a lot of great information and some really cool giveaways, guys. And it just so happened that I won two of the giveaways, which I was pretty excited about. Really anxious to check this stuff out, guys. So in the box you just have the manual here, and then some rubber feet, and it looks to be very well packed. Some pretty thick styrofoam there. Let's just throw that out of the way, and let's get I'll get one speaker out of the box for now, and then of course I'm gonna get some closer footage of these things after I'm done with the unboxing here. So let's just open these up. Alright, so first impression, they actually have a similar finish to my RP8000F clip speakers. I'd definitely say it's similar. And for such a budget speaker, magnetic grills, guys. And they're actually pretty strong magnetic grills. That's actually a cool feature to have on such a budget speaker. But as you can see, you just got your driver there and your tweeter, and of course, like I said, I'll get some closer footage for you guys in a bit. And then you got two ports at the bottom. Alright, so let's move on to the subwoofer. We all know that I'm a big bass head, so I'm anxious to see what this thing has to offer. Oh, and we got, it's a double box, so that's good. Definitely gonna be protected. And while I'm unboxing this, guys, for any video that I do that's home theater related, I always do a movie of the week. So it's just a movie that's $20 or under, and it's a 4K title. So if you guys are interested in that, I always have it down in the description below. So make sure to check out the links there. Alright guys, so we just have the power cord, pretty typical OSD Black manual, and some pretty heavy duty styrofoam, even though it's double boxed, which is good to see. Not really any worries of this thing being damaged in shipping. Better close my knife before I stab myself. Although it would make for good YouTube, it wouldn't be good for me. Okay. So, can I make enough room so that I can lift it out of here? It's not a very heavy subwoofer, but it is hard to get a hold of. Okay, just a second, guys. There we go. Alright, so far it's got this really interesting faux leather finish on it, which is actually kind of cool. It looks nice, it's well done. No flaws that I can see other than this tape leaving some residue behind after I peel it off. I'll fix that later. So there you have one of the passive radiators. Let's get this thing fully unboxed here. Alright, so here we have the grill, which just has a little tab on the bottom for you to pull it out, and it's just held in with those tabs there. And there is the active driver, nice and stiff. So you got one passive radiator, active driver, another passive radiator, and then of course your amp on the back, which I'm going to grab my camera and I'm going to get you guys some more close-up footage and give you some specs of both the subwoofer and the speaker. Alright guys, before we get into the video, one quick update regarding the secret massive subwoofer that I have coming. There was some delays just due to some parts, and then there was one more delay after that, so I should have had it by now, but unfortunately I don't. I know, I'm pretty disappointed too, but I'd rather have a subwoofer that is up to the manufacturer's standards than to have one that isn't. So I'd rather wait and make sure that it's perfect before it gets here. So just so you guys know, it should be delivered this coming Monday, which means on my next video, hopefully I am doing the big reveal and the unboxing of this subwoofer. So make sure you guys subscribe and stay tuned for that. Alright, now that we've unboxed the bookshelf speakers as well as the Trevoce12 subwoofer, let's discuss some of the specifics of both of them. Alright, so starting with the Trevoce12 subwoofer, it is a 12-inch active driver on the front with two 12-inch passive radiators on either side. The dimensions of the subwoofer are 16 inches wide, 15.4 inches high, and 15 inches deep. So the finish on the enclosure is a faux leather wrap, which I do actually like. It looks unique, it's very different. I like the feel of it as well, but I do feel that it might get marked up pretty easily. So that's just something to note when figuring out where to place this subwoofer. Alright, so let's talk about the driver and the radiators. So the driver is a rigid cone design, and like I stated earlier, it is a 12-inch driver, and the surround seems beefy enough. I don't see any problems with that either. Although the 12-inch active driver does look alright, I would have preferred for them to have it consistent with the passive radiators and have the woven fiberglass design as well, just to have a little bit more of a consistent look. But I guess if it does bug you, you can always just put the grill on and then you don't have to look at it. So the passive radiators look similar to an SVS driver, or for the DIY guys, similar to a Dayton Ultimax driver. So it's a woven fiberglass material, so it's very rigid, and I do like the look of them. For those of you that may not know what a passive radiator is for, it's just going to help this sealed enclosure out in the SPL department. Moving on to the grill, it's a sturdy wood frame with plastic pegs which you can insert into the grommets in the subwoofer. All in all, with the grill on, I think it does look pretty nice. I do feel that it lacks a little bit of consistency with the grill off, so I do prefer to have the grill on. Now moving on to the amplifier, which is at the back of the unit. I couldn't find much specific details about it on any of the websites, but OSD does claim that it is 800 watts of power. Now guys, I'm going to assume that this is peak power and not RMS, but that is just my assumption simply because I could not find anything specific. Normally manufacturers do like to state their peak power just because it is a higher number and it looks better, so I'm going to assume that that's what was done here, but don't quote me on that, guys. If there's anybody out there that does know if this 800 watts is RMS or peak, please drop it down in the comments below. So on the top middle you have your high level inputs. Directly right of that you have your power LED, which is red when in standby and green when on. Below that you have your LFE input, as well as your low level inputs for RCAs. Moving down from there is the volume knob. And under that is the frequency or crossover knob, which should be in the max position if using the LFE input. And it goes from 40 Hz all the way up to 200 Hz. Continuing down is the phase toggle switch, which is either at 0 or 180 degrees. Below that is the power switch that does have auto mode when placed in between on and off. In the bottom right hand corner is the standard 3-prong AC power port, which does have an accessible fuse as well. To the left of that is the main power switch, and directly beside that is the 120 volt and 220 volt switch. That sums it up, guys. It is a pretty standard rear plate amp setup. One thing to note is that the inputs are 24 karat gold plated. Lastly, at the bottom of the enclosure we have the 4 rubber feet that are about 2 inches high and should offer some decoupling properties because they are soft rubber. If you guys are interested in either of these, there are links down in the description. So that pretty much sums up the Trevoce12 subwoofer. Let's move on to the Neumi BS5 bookshelf speakers. So each of these two-way bookshelf speakers is 10.6 inches high, 7.2 inches wide, and 8.5 inches deep, and they each weigh 7.1 pounds. The enclosure is a dual-ported design and is made from 15mm or just over half-inch MDF board and is tuned to 50 Hz. I've not listened to them yet, so I don't know this for sure, but I do suspect that a subwoofer is basically a must with these bookshelves, but honestly, what can you expect for $89 speakers? The finish is a vinyl veneer that reminds me a lot of the finish on my Klipsch RP8000Fs. I would say the Klipsch finish is nicer, but these Neumes look great for such an inexpensive speaker. So driving the mids and lows is a 5-inch fiberglass woofer in a steel basket. So for hitting those high notes, we do have a 1-inch silk diaphragm tweeter with a neodymium magnet and a waveguide faceplate for dispersion. The two-way crossover has a crossover point of 2.1 kilohertz. And last but not least, the grille is a sturdy wood frame with the Neume branding on the bottom, and it connects magnetically. And guys, these magnetic grills are not going to fall off anytime soon. Just listen to this thunk. Okay, so that about sums up the unboxing and overview of the Trevoce12 and the Neume BS5 bookshelf speakers. So if you are interested in either of these bookshelves or the Trevoce12 subwoofer, make sure you do stay tuned for the full review. I will also be doing some room measurements of the subwoofer because I'm just as curious as you guys are. So if you haven't subscribed yet, now would be a great time, and make sure you tick the little bell icon so you can be notified when those videos drop. And if you guys do like the video, please be awesome and hit that like button. And as always, stay techie.